The 2011 MoveThatBlock.com Indy 225 was the 13th race of 17 of the 2011 IndyCar season. Held on Sunday, August 14th at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the first IndyCar race held at the track since 1998. Will Power was trying to chase down and unseat Dario Franchitti as champion throughout this season, as this race would go on to become another infamous IndyCar race in its history, as I would expect most of you know how it ends. But what happened throughout the race? That's what this video is here for. The championship leader Dario Franchitti started on pole, with Oriol Servia to his outside. A power from the front row, and the aforementioned Will Power through Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan, Takuma Sato, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Elio Castroneves, Marco Andretti, Ryan Briscoe, Graham Rahal, a rookie James Hinchcliffe, Ed Carpenter, Vitor Meira, and Danica Patrick. Oh. Okay. Anyways, there had been a major threat of rain later in the day. The officials decided to make the decision to start the race 30 minutes earlier at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and the moment the broadcast comes on, the command to start the engines was given. Franchitti would lead the field to take the green flag.
That Scott mentioned, the sharpest point is 7 degrees. Down on the bottom is so flat, the guys say they cannot run there. Coming out of turn number 4, the outside IndyCar sailors from New Hampshire is green. Trouble in the corner as they come out of turn number 2. The 27 of Mike Conway collects Graham Rahal. The one thing Graham was worried about strikes him in lap number 1.
All comes down because he did not get that good qualifying lap yesterday. We talked about him being the fastest many times throughout the day. Was fastest in final practice before qualifying. One bobble in turns 3 and 4, and his qualifying put him back towards the back of the pack. You can see the frustration because he knew he had wheels underneath him today, Marty, that he could have won this event.
Mike Conway lost control of his Indycar off turn 2 and collected Graham Rahal as they both slid down into the tire barriers. Rahal had set the fastest time in final practice and was a favorite to potentially win, despite starting in the back. They will finish 25th and 26th. The race would then restart on lap 7, but
Side by side, here they go. Green flag in the air, we're back racing. And we got another spin. Elio Castroneves, he is now into the very same area where Graham Rahal ended up, but he may be able to keep it running.
Well, if he does, he obviously has some damage on the rear of the car.
Elio Castroneves, Penske loses control off turn 2 as well and slides and hits the barrier, causing damage to the right rear wheel, specifically the toe line. After what had been a rough 2011 season so far for Castroneves, it doesn't get any better here as the wreck takes him out of contention. He will finish 17th. The race would get restarted on lap 13 as we have not even ran a total lap of green flag yet.
In these first sets of laps, and we're back to green flag racing again with Dario up front. And look at Scheckter on the high side again.
Reminds me of what Tony Kanaan does many times on starts and restarts.
Side by side with James Hinchcliffe, and Hinchcliffe coming off a great run. Didn't get the final result he wanted back at Mid-Ohio last week, but he showed what he can do at the wheel of the car, and right now he is up front in that pack as well. Hinchcliffe in the 4th position. Scheckter now up to 3rd. He is fighting it out with Oriol Servia.
Oh, tried to sneak underneath him, ended up having to cut across the back of the bow, and in that scenario he ended up losing the air. He'll take another shot at it here going on the high side.
Settle in, start hitting your mark.
And Hinchcliffe, remember, the rookie from Toronto, Canada, a great driver. Really going to go to school here with the 22 of Scheckter now getting past him, Marty.
Let's get an update on Thomas Scheckter. Rick DeBrule.
This is really interesting because, to be honest with you, all weekend long, this team has struggled with this car. In fact, during the...
Dario Franchitti would lead pretty much unchallenged through the early part of the race, as he obviously had the car to beat. Although Thomas Scheckter had struggled early all week and now has one of the only cars early on that looks like that could challenge Franchitti, as he is in third right now after starting toward the mid to back part of the field. Back from side to side, and Scheckter has dropped to 5th as Franchitti now has a 5-second lead. On lap 37, Hunter-Reay challenges Servia for 2nd, but instead will drop a spot to Hinchcliffe, who will then get to 2nd. Back from another side-by-side, and Franchitti has lapped up to 13 and has built his lead to 10 seconds. Will Power is the next car in line to be lapped. If Franchitti catches him, which he does on lap 56. 2 laps earlier, there's near contact between Takuma Sato and Ryan Hunter-Reay, as Hunter-Reay has to give up 4 to Sato. Back from commercial break, and green flag pit stops are nearly upon us and will ultimately commence on lap 70 as Hinchcliffe is the first to hit pit road for 4 tires and fuel. Patrick hits pit road as an unwanted tingling is felt in the air. Servia pits, as does Ryan Hunter-Reay. Franchitti hits pit road in lap 73. Dixon pits the next lap around as he has a close call with Charlie Kimball. J.R. Hildebrand also pits. His teammate Will Power pits, and as the last of the green flag pit cycle completes, the tingling, which ultimately is rain, intensifies, and the caution comes out on lap 76 for that rain. Incredibly, they ran 32 laps under the damn caution and never threw the red flag, as the officials hope to keep some heat in the racetrack, as if they stopped, they would likely lose the racetrack. It works, and after a 30-lap caution period, we get back to green as Franchitti leads the field to green.
Speed zone, enjoy the lap.
Green.
Side-by-side restarts. These guys and gals have been getting better at it every race. That was exciting. And there you see Scott Dixon in that number 9 car right now. He is running in 6th position. Right ahead of him is James Hinchcliffe, and right behind him is Ryan Briscoe and J.R. Hildebrand. That acorn, number 18, is James Jakes. He is lap traffic. And there goes the 9 underneath Hinchcliffe. So Scott Dixon, he wasn't kidding around. He says, let's go back to racing.
Probably made some change in that pit stop we had.
Trouble. The 82 of Tony Kanaan, the 22 of Thomas Scheckter. A big contact. And Tony is on his lid.
Okay, Tony? Yeah.
He is okay. We also have a car up into the wall in turn number 4. Get a number for you on that as soon as we can. I believe it's the 26. It is. So there is Marco Andretti with heavy damage on his right front suspension. So we just go back to green flag racing. And our 4th caution is the worst.
A 3-wide sandwich, which leads to Thomas Scheckter coming down on Andretti and Kanaan, taking himself and Kanaan for a slide and hitting the inside tire barriers. And after catching the tire barriers, Kanaan's car flips over pretty dramatically. Andretti suffers suspension damage after the contact. Luckily, all 3 drivers were okay. For Scheckter, after being a contender throughout most of the early part of the race, this one error will leave him 23rd. For the other 2, they will finish 22nd and 24th. Also, this porta potty got knocked over by the impact, so you can now see all the liquid shit underneath it. Now the damn race is starting to go off the rails. The field comes to take the green flag on lap 118.
Glad that I'm safe, and let's move on.
Frustrated, but okay. We're back to green, Marty.
Race leader is into the wall, and we have multiple cars now. And it looks like that is the 12 of Will Power as well. So on the restart, all of a sudden, the man who has dominated this race, Dario Franchitti, finds himself parked on the sidewall. There's the 4 J.R. Hildebrand. He too is involved in this. Our 5th caution. And the last restart, the double foul, everybody was so clean for the entire lap, but not this time.
No, that was something that we've not seen before, obviously going in a straight line, so we'll have to catch a replay on that. And there you can see the right front tire with a lot of black around it from contact, and obviously flat for Takuma Sato.
He was in second place.
And then Will Power is still on the track because it was the 4 of J.R. Hildebrand that ended up coming and hitting the inside wall. So
Now the bullshit is real. Dario Franchitti, who has dominated the damn race, self-clears himself of Takuma Sato, spins himself and hits the inside wall. J.R. Hildebrand also gets clicked after making slight contact with another car, which I believe is EJ Vizo's car, bouncing off the inside wall. After leading over 100 laps and having far and away the best car of the day, Franchitti will finish 20th. Hildebrand finishes 21st. Sato, as you guys already saw, pits under the caution for repair, as now the damn race is wide ass open, as Ryan Hunter-Reay was now the leader over Oriol Servia, as they bring the field back to green on lap 125, as we have now reached halfway.
Outside, and you heard it. We're racing again. Was Will Power on the high side taking a big risk, but he sees an opportunity and he wants to jump on it.
well, he has to. He knows here's an opportunity for him to make up a lot of points, so he's now going to be much more aggressive on the inside of Charlie Kimball, who is down a lap or two.
Kimball is 1 lap down in 9th position. There are 8 cars shown on the lead lap.
After the restart, a very interesting interview takes place with Dario Franchitti.
I don't know. Takuma looks like he came up into my right rear in the middle of this straight. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why.
I mean, you had not had a problem all weekend. You had not put a wheel wrong all weekend.
And I still don't believe I put a wheel wrong. I mean, you know, I don't know why he's sitting so close coming up to the restart. I don't know. I mean, I get the jump here, and we're coming along, and he comes up. Look. I don't know what he's trying to do. It's not the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last time with him, but you know, it's when you have a car that's that fast, it's pretty devastating.
At this point, Scott Dixon slowly and methodically worked his way throughout the chaos to third, Servia is second, and Hunter-Reay is the leader. Will Power is fourth, trying to close the gap on Franchitti. On lap 141, Alex Tagliani erupts into a barbecue as he hits pit road. He will finish 19th. Incredibly, the caution never came out during this time, as it wasn't a threat and the whole situation was, of course, on pit road. With 64 laps to go, the final round of green flag pit stops occurs. Patrick is the first to pit. Hinchcliffe follows, then Oriol Servia pits. As they've mentioned, they've scuffed every set of his tires, as well as his teammates. A lap later, the leader Hunter-Reay pits. Dixon pits 2 laps later. With 58 to go, Ryan Briscoe pits. Briscoe gets a wing adjustment, as everyone of course gets 4 tires of fuel. His teammate Power stays out as long as he can, hoping for a caution, though it ultimately never comes. So he pits with 47 to go. That meant Takuma Sato inherits the lead, as he was off sequence a bit with the leaders after the Franchitti crash. He pits though ultimately with 35 laps to go. Hunter-Reay reassumes the lead after the entire cycle. On lap 176, James Jakes drops out of the race with a gearbox failure. With 28 laps to go, there are 7 cars now on the lead lap after Hunter-Reay laps Ryan Briscoe. With 19 to go, the rain is back, and well, this time it's a bigger problem, as you could very well tell. It could potentially end the damn race. But Indycar was determined to see the race through. They thought it wasn't raining hard enough and that the track was still raceable enough. So with 8 laps to go, they managed to get the field back up for what would likely be the last restart. Now, let's pause and remember, at this point, we're now in hindsight 2025. Let's go back to last year. Remember last year's Cup Series race here at the track where they raced on a wet racetrack? Yeah, it was freaking awesome. It looked unreal. Well, they had wet leather tires on. Not to mention, as I mentioned, it's 12 and a half years after this race. So now let's backtrack to now, in 2011. They don't have wet weather tires, they're slicks. So, now the tires have dropped temperature. So, cold slick tires, a track that's turned into ice, and Danica Patrick in the top 5, meant what happened next was predictable.
Haas Racing. Oh, and a spin. It includes Will Power. Danica Patrick spins. And you see Michael Andretti, he was complaining at the beginning of this because, and there's damage to Danica's car.
The track's probably just a little bit, that mist comes down. It doesn't take much with these slicks, Marty.
And this is really going to affect Will Power. Rick, let's check in. What's going on down there?
Well, I'm standing by with I will describe a very agitated Michael Andretti. You called this. You said that was going to happen out there.
Yep, and this is the worst officiating I've ever seen. Sorry, Brian, but this was bad. Really bad. Well, we lost the car and we lost the lead. I mean, this is just, you don't do that. It was wetter than when they threw the yellow earlier and they threw the green. I mean, it's just...
you came down, you appealed to the officials.
I tried. It doesn't matter. Really, really disappointed. I mean, normally Brian does a great job, but this one he really missed it.
Michael Andretti once again came down, was yelling at the officials. Ryan Hunter-Reay in the car was pleading, saying, this is stupid. I can't even put the power down. As a result, you saw what happened.
It was an all-skate session, that's for sure.
What an utter clusterfuck. As you guys just saw, Danica lost it the moment she got on the damn throttle, and so did a shit ton of others that caused the big one to occur. Michael Andretti was pissed, and who could really blame him? It's a stupid decision because the result was so obvious. Racing on a racetrack as slick as ice like this at this point puts drivers at risk and can change the outcomes of the championship. But if you thought Mr. Aviation was pissed, then you can imagine Will Power was fucking enraged by this decision. And pretty much to sum it up, you can tell visibly by his body language he's pissed. And as he's walking back, he decided to give all his Australian fans a hello and a tower a nice little message. One thing this stunt did do was cause Will Power's t-shirts to fly off the damn shelves, as well as become a meme. The blame was universally put on one man, Brian Barnhart. This is far from the first time he's had a situation he pretty much started. Every interview you see is constant and pretty deserved trashing of Barnhart.
I was begging him, please do not go green. It's too slippery. And from what Tim Cindric was saying, so was everyone else. So everyone was saying it.
And you were yelling at the officials, Brian Barnhart in particular. Are you going to go talk to him, and what will you say?
There's no use. He makes such bad calls all the time. This has got to be it. They cannot have this guy running the show, because that was the decision that put a lot of drivers in danger. And you saw how many people crashed on the front straight, and it was no condition to race in. Shame on him.
Came back from a lap down. You gained 20 points on Dario. At that point, you were 5th. What was it like at that start when it went green?
It was just really slippery. And Danica lost it. So I reacted and went this way, and I saw Briscoe coming, so I reacted, spun, and then I got hit by like 3 or 4 people, and that hurt too. Man, I just can't believe that they make decisions like that. I mean, what are those guys up there doing? They have Alonso. He's raced. He'd never race in these conditions. So to me, it was disgraceful.
Those officials that you were yelling at on the radio are the same ones that hand down fines and penalties. Do you think any are coming your way?
Yeah, I know that I lost my temper, and that was bad of me to do that. But I couldn't help it. I was so emotional about it because we had such a good day. And we begged them not to do it.
Big points implication here.
Now, see, this is president of competition for the IZOD IndyCar Series, Brian Barnhart. Brian, take us through the process of what is going to be the official results. Who's going to finish behind Ryan Hunter-Reay now?
Well, the official result will be the positioning order prior to the last attempted restart. That's going to be an aborted restart. Obviously, the track conditions were not in a position that was safe for us to run. I couldn't agree more with what Ryan said. It's a mistake on race control's part, but again, based on the information we had, we're getting reports back from the observers, from our track safety people, said there wasn't a surface change, said it was a raceable condition. Obviously, the attempted restart showed that wasn't the case. So it was a mistake on race control's part, and the only right thing to do and the fair thing to do is go back to the running order prior to that restart, because we ended up tearing up some race cars we shouldn't have.
Okay, that's obviously going to make Will Power feel better, but before he knew this, obviously he's hot under the collar. Will there be any ramifications, because these guys were venting before they knew that you were going to change this result? result and go back to that?
Well, I mean, we haven't even looked at that yet, Marty. Obviously, it's we're trying to make sure we're doing the right thing here based on the conditions of the finish of this race. And when you look at what these guys are dealing with out there, with their lives and safety on the line out there, their emotions and adrenaline's going to run hard. So we'll take a look at that after the fact, but that's secondary compared to doing the right thing for the finishing order.
And Brian, were you getting reports from the drivers up into to your head control there to get into
No, and that's the hard part about it. I know a lot of them are saying, but we didn't have a single pit tech call and say that we couldn't go because they were radioing in. Obviously, up top on the spotter stand, we knew there was light moisture on the racetrack, but we were counting on at that point in time the observers around the racetrack and our track safety, and they said there was no surface change and it's good to go. And race control, we can only make the decisions based on the information that's provided to us. Clearly, in this case, it was not good information, not accurate, and wasn't the right thing to do.
And I know from running underneath you, you're all about safety. So it sounds like if you had got that information from the drivers that were in the cockpit, then you would have made a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd have never tried that, and that was so obvious. As soon as you called it, I mean, it's almost one thing if one driver might have spun wheels or had it might not, but when three of them go that quick, it's pretty obvious it was a wrong call.
Well, Brian, thank you for taking the time and explaining that, and I think that helps ease a lot of questions that were cropping up, obviously, during the race.
The red flag was thrown almost immediately as IndyCar management needed to sort out this entire shit show, as well as the rain. Eventually, the race was called, and the results went back to where the field was before the last restart, and Ryan Hunter-Reay was declared the winner. However, Newman Haas Racing and Chip Ganassi Racing both filed appeals for the decision to be overturned to where the race finished under the red flag, as both Servia and Dixon did get around Hunter-Reay in the restart, but the case was ultimately dismissed, and the results stayed the same. IndyCar made the right decision in the finishing order and how this was determined, but at that point they should have just ran the last 8 to 9 laps to the end under caution, and they could have avoided this entire shit show. One thing for sure this whole situation did do was cause Brian Barnhart to get sacked as the lead officiator of IndyCar. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the race in the most clusterfucked way I've ever seen. Will Power's bird flip lands him in 5th, Servia and Dixon finish 2nd and 3rd, and a rookie James Hinchcliffe survives all the chaos and ultimately comes home to finish 4th. And that's going to be today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking back at the insane hilarity that it is, because honestly, this race is very funny and ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that it becomes funny. And what do you guys think? Do you guys want me to do more videos on IndyCar and, of course, NASCAR, as I've already done before? And what are the plans and what other races do you guys want to see suggested? Anyways, this is Carter Gaming. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next video.